you know, Quavo, Takeoff, they was down here with y'all. But they seen you walking by. He's laying on the ground. You got Mike bending down, and they seen you walking by. What took place there?
This the crazy thing about that video, right? Is
this ain't no little rap beef. This is a straight up war that's been bubbling under the surface and finally exploded. Mase just dropped a bombshell that shook the whole game. He leaked a private call between J Prince and Takeoff, something no one ever thought would see the light of day, and now J Prince is spiraling, throwing out threats, scrambling with damage control, the whole nine. But it gets even wilder because Mase didn't fold under pressure. He clapped right back and dragged Prince in a way that had people saying, finally, somebody said it out loud. And all this is going down while the streets are still crying out for answers about what really happened to Takeoff. That night in Houston still ain't adding up.
Problem, J Prince, and I'm gonna tell you like this: if you're 60 years old and you're trying to be a street nigga, you failed. You failed. You failed. You failed. I'm telling you this.
There's missing footage, witnesses who went quiet, and the same two names that keep surfacing, J Prince Jr. and DJ Pat. Now with this private call coming to light, the game just flipped. If what Mase is saying holds weight, this ain't just a case of bad PR. It could mean J Prince has been hiding something way darker. And before this video ends, I'm showing you the receipts, witness tweets, video clips, podcast threats, and even bail cover-up talk. People online are going in on J Prince, calling him a fake community leader, a cartel-style fixer, and even accusing him of having blood on his hands. This isn't some lightweight YouTube gossip. It's a full-blown scandal that traces all the way back to Takeoff's final moments, the mob ties connection, and why Prince is scrambling now that the wrong person decided to speak up. Here's how it went down. Mase had been keeping it chill, staying quiet on the whole Houston mess, but once Prince started sliding in slick subliminals on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, that's when things snapped. Mase and Cameron had been biting their tongues for months, but Prince crossed the line. And then came the bombshell. Mase claimed he heard a call where Prince was allegedly pressing Takeoff just hours before his death. And the tone of that call? Not brotherly, not respectful. It sounded more like pressure, straight up intimidation.
Hey man, yeah man. We got a little bit of straightening going on.
Mase basically painted the picture of Prince moving in the shadows, trying to control the story. And when Takeoff stopped playing along, everything spiraled. The scariest part, the timing. That call allegedly went down the same night Takeoff was killed outside that Houston bowling alley, after a dice game turned into an argument and then gunfire. Takeoff gone at just 28. When Mase finally aired this out, Prince flipped. He jumped on social media, tossing out cryptic threats, and doubled down on his shady shots at Offset for not being there for Takeoff. The tension is boiling, and it's uglier than anyone expected. Remember this, you wasn't really there with Takeoff when he was alive. You wasn't really right there with him when he was alive, you know what I mean. That one line lit the fuse, sparking the Offset versus J Prince drama, with Cardi B jumping in loud to defend her man. But now that Mase is pulling receipts about this private call, J Prince is scrambling into damage control mode, but it's way too late for that. The street's been buzzing, and the silence, people are over it. One fan on X summed it up raw: nobody respects J Prince after Takeoff died on his watch. And that's when the side eyes started raining down heavy on Prince and his whole mob ties image. Takeoff gone, and not long after, Patrick Xavier Clark, better known as DJ Pat, gets picked up. But here's the shady part. This man posts a $1 million bond and strolls out of jail like nothing happened. Too quick, too smooth, like somebody with serious influence made sure he wasn't locked down for long. And the rumors, they only added fuel. Stories online say J Prince walked past Takeoff's body and told people, call that, don't ask me none about that. Even wilder, paperwork shows J Prince Jr. actually requested his name be removed from DJ Pat's bond conditions. If that ain't a red flag, what is? They were all together that night. Why scrub his name unless he's trying to cut ties and dodge the heat? And now, all eyes are locked on J Prince. And it's not just about DJ Pat anymore. Remember Cameron Joshua, aka Lil Cam 5th?
You wasn't really right there with Takeoff when he was alive, you know what I mean? So
he got scooped up on unlawful weapon charges right after Takeoff was killed, and his ties to mob ties are no secret. Every time something tragic goes down, it seems like dudes connected to J Prince Jr. are right there in the mix, and yet Mob Ties keeps trying to spin the story like they're the victims. The streets aren't buying that narrative anymore. Truth is, Takeoff wasn't even the first red flag. Look back at Duke the Jeweler. He flew into Houston, checked in with mob ties, hit a dice game, and left in a body bag. Same setup, same silence, and once again, whispers about Jay Prince hanging in the background. And don't forget that strange footage of Prince telling his man with the shotgun to fall back. It looked way too coordinated. Like this wasn't some random chaos, it was a formula. Here's the pattern. Invite wealthy artists to Houston, make them check in with mob ties, drag them into a dice game, an argument pops off, security stands around like statues, then someone ends up dead. And after the smoke clears, Prince drops a poetic little post about black-on-black violence or grief being the price of love. Please, that ain't healing, it's PR spin. Where were they when the blood was fresh on the pavement? And to this day, none of the Princes even showed their faces at Takeoff's funeral. That silence screams loud. Maybe there's a reason. They know the streets are whispering that their hands ain't clean. And then Jay Prince Jr. jumps online with lines like, "Don't wear jewelry around vultures." But if you already know the setting ain't safe, why bring your guests into that trap in the first place? Why didn't Jay Prince warn Quavo and Takeoff if things were already heated that night? If this so-called check-in system ain't protecting people, then what's the point of it? Reports say Quavo was arguing with Jay Prince Jr. just minutes before those shots rang out, and now new clips show Prince brushing off the whole tragedy like his name ain't tied to it, like Takeoff wasn't killed right under his crew's supervision. And then came the explosion. After Jay Prince threw shade on $1 million worth of game, Mase went nuclear. He didn't just clap back, he torched Prince's entire image live and direct. Mase made it clear, "We not your little..." And the way he delivered it, that wasn't some tweet or half-baked rant, that was a punch straight to the gut. He was speaking for everybody who ever felt pressured, cornered, or controlled by the check-in hustle Prince been running for decades. What took it over the edge? Cameron co-signed it all. He didn't argue, he didn't step in, he just sat back and let Mase go in, which is wild because Cam usually plays his cards real careful. Now fans are convinced Mase might have been holding that leaked call in the stash all along, just waiting for the perfect moment to drop the hammer. And when Prince finally slipped, Mase let it fly and the streets went crazy. While all this smoke was building, Offset had mostly stayed quiet. But the second Jay Prince tried to drag his name, suggesting he was never there for Takeoff, Offset snapped, and Cardi B jumped in right behind him. And let's be real, Cardi don't play pretend. When she says something, she means it. Suddenly, this wasn't about rap politics anymore. A mainstream power couple just called out mob ties in front of the world, and Jay Prince's street reputation started shaking. Here's what fans started noticing. Big names who used to show love to Prince began backing away, fast. First up, Drake. Remember, Jazz Prince is the whole reason Drake even linked with Lil Wayne and Young Money in the first place. Drake used to constantly show love to mob ties, but since Takeoff's death, radio silence. No reposts, no mentions, nothing. It's like he cut the cord completely, and it ain't just Drake. Jay-Z too. Word is, Hive hasn't responded to any of Prince's so-called peace calls since early 2023. And y'all know Jay's style. He never throws public shots. He just stops answering your calls and moves on quietly. Why? Because guys like him and Drake got billion-dollar empires behind them. They're not risking their brands, their corporations, or federal heat by being tied to a man whose name keeps coming up in the Takeoff situation. Now, with Mase dropping behind-the-scenes convos, the mask is slipping. The silence from hip-hop's biggest names says it all. Prince isn't just losing credibility in the streets, he's losing protection at the very top. The silent strategy ain't working anymore. The whole reason mob ties ever held weight was that old check-in rule: step into Houston, link with Jay Prince Jr., and supposedly you're safe. But now that system is crumbling. Duke the Jeweler checked in, gone. Takeoff checked in, gone. And now fans are tweeting, "This is why nobody checks in anymore." The ones demanding respect can't even protect their guests. Even artists from Cali been speaking up, calling the check-in hustle nothing but a trap, just a way for local gatekeepers to flex power they don't really have. And once Mase finally said it out loud, that Prince ain't no boss, just a wannabe mobster, the internet ran with it and never looked back. But here's where it gets extra shady. What happened to the witnesses? That night at 810 Billiards and Bowling, there were at least 40 people outside. We saw the clips, we heard the chaos. So why hasn't a flood of witnesses come forward? Word on the street is some were threatened, silenced, or even paid off. People online are accusing mob ties of erasing footage, intimidating folks, and making sure DJ Pat carried the blame alone. And the craziest theory? That J. Prince Jr. was the one arguing with Quavo, and Takeoff wasn't even involved. He just got caught in the crossfire.
I'm going to tell you another thing. When you're dealing with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. We not your little, like the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little.
Which has people asking the scariest question of all. Was Takeoff's death an accident, or was it a warning that went horribly wrong? Now here's where things go from wild to downright explosive. Sources close to Mase and Cam'ron's circle are whispering that there's a real chance that private call between J. Prince and Takeoff was actually recorded. Maybe by accident, maybe on purpose, but either way, that audio might exist. And word on the street is Mase and Cam have been holding it in the stash, ready to drop it if Prince tries to play slick. If that tape leaks, it could blow the whole thing wide open. What Prince really said to Takeoff, whether he pressed him, threatened him, or tried to box him into something he didn't want. And don't forget, this is Mase we're talking about. The same Mase who walked away from Diddy, fought the industry head on, and still came back swinging. If this call comes to light, that's game over for Prince's reputation. Mob ties finished, and it ain't just about street image anymore. If the feds catch wind of audio linking threats, pressure tactics, or behind-the-scenes deals, we're talking RICO territory. The feds don't care about rap legacies. They care about alleged witness tampering, intimidation, and organized crime patterns. Every time Prince or his sons hop on camera running slick talk, somebody in a suit is watching. And now, with Mase speaking up, they're listening harder than ever. And here's the kicker. When you got Offset, Cam, Mase, and a whole fan base screaming that you got blood on your hands, no label can shield you, no city ties can shield you, and those old school check-ins, they mean nothing now. They mean nothing because once your name hits that paperwork, all the fake power vanishes. And through all this noise, we can't forget what this is really about. Takeoff, the quiet genius of Migos. A peaceful soul, never about the drama, never chasing clout, just bars, family, and pure vibes. The fact that his life got snatched away over a dice game, surrounded by people who claim to love him, is the deepest cut of all. J. Prince tried to play it cool, posting on Instagram about how grief is the price of love. But let's be real, nobody wants to hear poetic lines when blood spilled under your watch and you walked off like nothing happened. The streets don't want captions, they don't want cryptic podcast sound bites, they want real answers. And that's why Mase's move wasn't just some clapback, it was a direct challenge to everything Prince has been hiding behind. He cracked the dam wide open. Mase showed the world that the fear around J. Prince ain't bulletproof anymore, that real ones aren't scared to speak, and that if Prince keeps trying to control the story, he could lose everything. From whispers of leaked calls, to the feds watching, to artists cutting ties, and witnesses staying silent, this saga is nowhere near done. Prince snapped, Mase clapped back, and now the whole world's locked in on every move. Drop a fire emoji in the comments if you're rocking with this breakdown. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on them notifications because what's coming next is even crazier, and you won't want to miss it.